Welcome to the Consulting Leaders Podcast, where we talk about the business of consulting. Whether you're looking to grow your practice or learn from the stories of leaders in consulting, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Guillaume Jouvencel, ex-PwC and co-founder of GHA Marketing. Join me as I interview the best consultants in their niche. Let's get on with the show. Biran, welcome to Consulting Leaders. Let's jump straight into it. What got you into your business?
What got me into my business? My own experience when I was a leader got me into my business.
Fair enough.
Uh,
So tell us a bit more.
Imagine a young person graduated from university and at the age of 21 working in a big corporate, disclaimer, in a bank, and trying to lead a group of 15 people and help them to make sales in retail banking. And as a 21-year-old, knowing nothing about leadership and not getting any support or coaching or training, I was trying to find my way. And to be fair, it was a struggle. It was a big struggle. I might even call it a trauma. That my own experience got me to be the person who wants to be there for those leaders who are now transitioning from one role to another role and having this challenge. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. What I'm doing is leadership coaching.
Tell us a bit more about what type of problem do you solve as a leadership coach in your own words?
Yeah. In my own world, of course, I wear different hats, right? So I'm a consultant as well. We do leadership cultural change projects as a consultant. But in my core, I work with leaders mostly in one-on-one, especially when they're transitioning from one role to another role. So in the consultant business, it's usually if you are a consultant, an associate transitioning from case leadership, project leadership, or maybe you are a project leader, now you're transitioning to being a partner. So mostly it's that transition, because I believe that's the pain point. The first 3 to 6 months can become hell for those leaders. So that is the moment that I jump in and I help them to find their way of leadership, their way of finding work-life balance, setting the boundaries with the teams, with the manager, with the clients. So that is my area of expertise.
Why is that important to solve for you?
I have witnessed, like in my corporate life, I have 12 years of corporate experience. I have witnessed many talented leaders getting promoted to a new position and struggling in that new position in the first 3 to 6 months, and then getting rated as underperformer just because they don't get the right support in that transition. So I don't think that's fair. That's my value of fairness, because when you give them the right support, they don't underperform, they shine. So that is why this is important to me.
How do you get yourself out there? First of all, can you tell us a bit more about the structure of the company that you work out? So TPC Leadership, right? So how is that structured? Is it like a get together of coaches? Is it a bigger thing? Like, can you give us a bit of juice?
TPC Leadership is an international leadership consultancy company. So
Okay.
we're not just doing leadership coaching, we're also doing leadership cultural change or leadership consultancy projects that are longer than just, in and out short programs. So it's a longer program. So as TPC Leadership, we have multiple offices around the world in 13 countries. But at the same time, I have my own business working separately from TPC Leadership. I train coaches and I work more on one-on-one. So TPC Leadership, most of TPC Leadership's clients are international corporate clients.
Oh, that's gonna be an interesting one, because one of the recurring questions of this show is how do you market and brand yourself? I suppose there is multiple things at play here because there is this overall structure, and then there is you as a partner who is probably in charge of your own thought leadership and branding. So
Mhm.
how does all that take place? How do you market yourself? How do you brand yourself? What's the role of the company versus yours? How does all that work?
So I think it's different because as a consultant, I'm working as a freelancer apart from TPC leadership as well. So, and in consultancy, I believe that yes, there is this corporate organization, but my experience tells me that the clients don't go to the organization; they go to the person in that organization. So even in the strategic consultancy or professional services consultancy, when you look at the most successful partners or MDPs, the clients come to them, not the company itself only. Yes, the company brings in some credibility, that's for sure, and the resources, that's for sure. But when people reach out for help, they reach out you, they trust you.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for an organization or an individual, doesn't matter, to show up as themselves out there in social media with their thoughts as well. That's
Yeah.
why thought leadership is important.
Yeah.
You need to be authentic. And one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is like they try to get all the clients and everybody, but they need to make sure they're about their ideal client. Like, who do I want to work with? Who do I speak to? What is my style? Because not everybody is not going to like you. Everybody is not going to be your client. Everybody is not going to come to you. There will be some sort of chemistry between you and the person who is looking for help. So, and you just need to know who do you click with, and you need to be authentic in your messages. Otherwise, people will feel that. So, which will bring me to the AI and technology conversation. But I'm going to stop myself here.
I get there. So there is a very important point that you made here that I want to double down on, which is especially in B2B coaching, especially in consulting, people buy from people, not from companies.
Exactly.
Now, of course, when you're a partner at Deloitte, at PwC, at McKinsey, you carry the brand power behind you, no
Exactly.
doubt. But the people, so that gets you into the room eventually, but that doesn't get you the deal signed. You get the
Exactly.
deal because or thanks to the person who are presenting that room and who are representing that brand as well.
Yeah.
So that being said, how do you market yourself then, Biran? How do you brand yourself? How do you make sure that your target clients, your ICPs, know you, understand the problem that you're solving, understand the solution that you're bringing? What does your top of funnel looks like, basically?
My top of funnel, how do I present myself? So platform based, of course, I'm using social media,
Mhm,
LinkedIn mainly because my clients are more on LinkedIn. I'm
mhm,
coaching leaders and I'm designing programs with corporate clients. So yes, I share some of my thoughts in other social media platforms, but it is not my it's not my ideal platform, let's put it that way. So I on my personal page on LinkedIn, I show up as Biran,
yeah,
and I share things about TPC leadership, but I also share about what I want to say about whatever is happening around the world. And I also share some information about my other services. But what I also do is I keep bringing in TPC leadership, other things as well. And I also do some marketing planning, etc., for some TPC leadership initiatives because I'm a partner there. So I think in this era, nobody just wears one hat,
yeah.
right? So we all have different roles. We collaborate with different companies. We do business. We do joint ventures. And the biggest problem, I think, when people trying to market themselves, they are trying to put themselves in one little box. And that's a challenge, because we are more than that box. And it is okay, as long as your messaging is the same, as long as your purpose is the same, people will be okay with that. So some people come to me because of TPC leadership, but some people come to me because of my own thoughts and my own background in HR. So, that is okay. So as a bottom line, maybe it's the LinkedIn platform is marketing. I do write blogs. I share my posts. I attend events as well. Always getting my network, trying to get my network bigger and bigger. That is my strategy. Of course, we have a marketing person in TPC Leadership who guides us. It's more helpful in that sense, but this is the main strategy.
So personal branding is going to play such an important role nowadays. And I think, that's back to our previous points. People buy from people, not from companies. But I think people buy in much more lately in the founder's story, or in the high executive leadership story, rather than just the brand of the company.
Yeah.
So I like that. Tell us a bit more. Like, how do you do LinkedIn? How do you do blogs? What's your strategy when you attend events? Like, how do you make sure that this is not just noise? The reason I'm asking you this, Biran, is I see so many B2B coaches and consultants saying, oh, yeah, I'm super active on LinkedIn. I put like one post a day, and I have zero engagement. Or I know some who play the game of the views and the likes and the comments, and who get zero business out of it. So the line is thin, because you're like, okay, do I go after the views? Do I go after the deals? Do I go after just the consistency and something will happen? How do you create the right mix, right, for your LinkedIn, for your personal branding, for the blog, for the events, to make sure that this feeds the top of the funnel, the pipeline, basically?
Maybe just to clarify, I have tried those as well. So I tried posting every day. I tried having a proper LinkedIn post or marketing plan for 2 years and having the funnel and everything, but then nothing worked. And what I noticed works is actually, and I understand why it doesn't work, because when organizations or people invest in people development, they really look into the provider that provides real value. And this is a difficult this decision. They don't just look at their LinkedIn post or funnel and then buy the buy the product. They don't do it. But this is helpful. That presence in social media is helpful when people search for your name. Right. So your LinkedIn posts will not bring you clients. I don't believe that. Like you're having a conversation. For example, I work with consultant companies, right? So let's assume we want to work with Bain, right? And then Bain is there, and they will just work with me because they saw my LinkedIn post. Is this, how real is this? It's not. So there is a long procurement process and discussions going behind the scenes. Like those discussions take months and months and months until we get the signature, right? But within that process, they will search for me online. So they will need to see my presence. They will need to see my approach, my experience when they search for me. That is why those up-to-date LinkedIn posts or blogs are important, because especially if those blogs and those thoughts or those posts are created by you, not by AI, because they will give the potential buyer the sense of who you are and your services. So I don't believe that for a coach or a consultant, social media or attending events are like direct sales channel. They are indirect credibility builders. That is my perspective, and that is how I look at the events and social media in marketing. I think it's the long game. That is the problem. People think that is a short game. I post every day and I will sell this product. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. In consultancy, in coaching, it's not like that. We're talking about millions of thousands of investment, right? So they're not just going to buy it because you have a nice looking funnel or a lead magnet. So they're not going to do that.
So it's okay. There is so many golden nuggets I want to dig into here. So I think what you alluded to here is the middle funnel, right? So people already got an idea of who you are, or like they got in touch with you with referral, whatever, and they're gonna look into you. That's the middle of the funnel. This is like, okay, I've heard about that person. Let me look them up. Let's see. Let me look into what they do. And this is where having a proper polished presence online helps a lot, indeed, because if they search you on internet and they can't find you, how are they gonna see that you're the experts that can bring the solution to their problem? So that's middle of funnel, which is super important. And then the other thing is the long-term game, like especially in high ticket, especially in consulting, especially in B2B coaching, we are looking at high ticket, usually high stakes. It's not just gonna take yes, I'm gonna turn on the ads and I'm gonna get gazillions of leads. This is not how it works. So I like some of the names that you mentioned here. Who do you typically work with and who do you train on? Because leadership coaching is broad. So who are you helping mainly, Biran?
Company name? Are you asking for company names?
No, not company names.
I can't share them because of confidentiality.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
No. That's not what I meant. Like industries, typical company size, typical job description, right? Like who is it that you help mainly? Who's your ICP?
So it depends. It depends. Like we have so many international clients from oil and gas. The new name is energy, I guess, but they went back to oil and gas again last year. So
I'm in Houston right now. I can confirm that. Yeah.
So from that to strategic consultancy company, couple of those that you mentioned. And
nice.
Also we have public sector. So I can say that, for example, NHS is one of our biggest clients in the UK, but we have IT as well. Recently, I started to work with fintech companies, startups, scale-ups. It is a totally different experience, the scale-up ones. I really started to enjoy working with them. So I'm looking forward to do more with scale-ups, especially with like high-paced fintech or tech companies. It's the real impact that you can create in that area. So I start to enjoy that.
Yeah, when the scale is smaller, but the mission is, how do I say this without seeming rude to the other industries? When you can see roots of your label directly, when you can see how driven is a team, a small team, and when you can make that impact. And also when you take a company from, I don't know, $1 million a year to $10 million a year, you've 10x. They're rich. When you do this at the higher levels of the companies, like oil and gas, big consulting firm, you're not gonna 10x their business. You're gonna, add a few percent here, a few percent there, help them achieve growth and deliver on the impact that they want. So yeah, I do get it.
I think with the bigger companies, it's the long game that you play. So a personal story, if you may, like when I first started to work with one of the big strategic consultancy companies, I was like, oh gosh, this is not for me. It's like I can't see the impact. It's very much outcome driven, but not people driven. It's this and that. I was like, I had this moment of, do I really want to continue with this client, work with them, or maybe this is not the place for me, right? This is not the type of client that I want to work with. And it was my first experience with a consulting, high stakes strategic consulting company. But then I loved it because I chose to be a role model. I chose to be an agent of change that they want to create within their culture. So, like, here I am 8 years later. I'm one of their lead faculties, and their culture has shifted. Of course, there's a lot of things with these companies that they still need to do when it comes to human focus. But in these big organizations, change doesn't happen that quickly. So the cultural change takes years. Like if you think about a small boat and a big ship, right? When you want to change the route of a small boat, it's very easy, it's very quick. But with the big ship, when you change direction, it's not that easy, it's not that fast. It's the same with the smaller organizations and bigger organizations. So the change happens, but it takes time. Whereas the small scale ups, you see it right in there. In a couple of months, you can see the results. So I think both has different pros and cons, different ways to enjoy working with.
What do you see back to because obviously that's my jam, so I can't help but ask questions around this.
Yeah.
What do you see as your next big move when it comes to all that we discussed, personal branding, building that authority, building that trust, being very long-term oriented? What's the next move here? What are you looking forward to implement? Any thoughts on what you'd like to do?
My personal one, my personal one is writing a book.
Okay.
I've been writing a book since I think since last year. Hopefully,
Okay.
it's gonna finish one day, and I will publish it.
That's a good objective.
Yeah, that is my next move. I want to leave some legacy. It's not something to make profit of, but it's just something that I know will be alive even after I die. So that's kind of a meaningful thing for me.
That does make sense.
Mm.
How do you? I'm noting it because I know a lot of people who are in the B2B coaching space want to write a book or have some books written and they want to write others. It's such an interesting thing. Like, I see how this is an authoritative tool, right? When you say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm a published author, like, go and check out my book. From a marketing standpoint, if people find it, right? So if there is good materials in there that people speak about it and talk about it, that's word of mouth. So that's an
Yeah.
excellent brand awareness and top of funnel even. It just takes so much time to write. It's like it's such an involvement, but that's back to the long term versus short term that you were speaking about earlier, Biran.
Yeah.
How do you? So I think I have a clear understanding of like how you market, who you target, who you're helping. Talk to me about the sales motion, right? How do you take an initial conversation with one of those big players to letter of engagement, SOW, we rock and roll? What does the sales motion typically look like for you?
It typically looks like not trying to make a sale.
I
So
get you.
it starts with understanding the problem. Okay, what's the problem? What can we offer to create value and really change the culture or the approach? Or
Yeah.
if it's the one-to-one coaching, what's the real problem here? How can I support them? It's not about making sales. So it's not about the numbers. The numbers and sales is the last step for me. It's more about if I can even help them without offering any service, just by giving advice or having a half an hour conversation, just maybe doing some brainstorming. I do that. So I give them value even before making a deal. I provide that value because what I do is something that I really care. That is one of the reasons I'm very passionate about what I do. So if you wouldn't pay me anything about it, I would do it anyway. So I think that's the difference. And when I approach to someone or have a conversation with someone with that care, they really feel it. And then that takes into really understanding their problem, finding a win-win when it becomes a business. I don't want them to feel like I'm selling something. There are multiple conversations, of course. They send us the RFP. We respond to the RFP. We design something. We make changes. We do, of course, we find midway. Most of the time, they might have budget limits, and we need to do our best within that budget to really create an impact, right? Again, as I said, our bigger programs with bigger clients are longer, so it's not just 5 or 6 sessions of coaching, right? So it is a long development cultural change programs. So it takes a lot of effort to really understand someone's needs and support them. And what I find the key thing is really providing value, not trying to make sales. Am I providing my value here? And if I do the job right, if I can be the real trusted advisor, as that David Meister calls, then sales comes.
Yes. Like, I have nothing to add to this. I think this is the right way to do it. We are in such complex sales cycle industry anyways, that patience is the most important word for sure. Bringing value throughout all the touch points, all the milestones, even before the engagement is signed, is absolutely key. Having those regular touch points with the different stakeholders, making sure we have the buy-in of everybody, sending the right resources as follow-ups is key. And yeah, building together to see like, hey, you see what we've been building together over the last few weeks. Let's make it official for the next few months.
And I think one of the things that I don't see new leaders in consultancy do that much is really being able to see the person coming with that request. So they forget the person that they are dealing with, and they focus too much on the content and the outcomes and the outputs. But if they focus on the person, they will really see the fears, the hesitations, the challenges that person is going through. And that person is your key. Usually that person is the decision maker or is the key to impact the decision maker. So you need to build that relationship with the person by really helping them. And it will be a win-win. So I think that is one of the things that I that I usually repeat myself when I'm working with young consultants. It's like, it's not the number of slides, it's not the frameworks or the models. It's about how you make them work for them. And to be able to do that, you need to see the person.
Tell the benefits, not the feature, and actually connect with the people.
Connect
We are
with
in the
the
people's
people.
business. No.
Exactly. Because like anyone can do the slides, but not everyone can connect with the people.
Yeah, to the point that certain consulting agencies have offshore slides building. I'm not gonna get into too much details of this, but like I've seen
No,
this
don't do
happen.
that. Don't do that. No.
I mean, it also shows where the value is, right? It's in the people, it's in the being in the room, or like remotely, but at least in a decent, Zoom recording, if that's the case. So no, I like the approach a lot, Biran.
Thank you.
Okay, let me put it in those terms. When I was at PwC,
Yeah.
the partner who kind of taught me everything was like, Guillaume, there are two types of consultants. There are the hunters and there are the farmers. And he was like, I'm a hunter. I love the smell of fresh blood in the morning. I love to go after new business. That's my job. And I was like, but the partners making the most money, the consultants growing the fastest are the farmers. The ones who are able to take that initial engagement, over-deliver, and transform it into a multi-layered, multi-years project, feeding other teams from PwC. Like those are the ones who go the fastest. For the right reasons, they are bringing in the most money, all whilst delivering that value to the clients.
Yeah.
So in your world, Biran, because there is there is the personal brand Biran and what you do, there is people coming for you specifically, there is the big, massive company behind it. Like, how do you retain, how do you transform one initial engagement into multiple engagements? How do you farm?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought you were going to ask if I'm a hunter or a farmer.
You can say if you'd like. I have my suspicions, but you can say.
What do you think?
I think you're a farmer.
Yeah.
The way you talk about it, I think you're a farmer. I
I'm
think
more
you
of a farmer.
you value those relationships, you build, you nurture, and once you're there, you're there. I mean, that's the vibe that I get.
Yeah,
So
I
how do
feel
you do
like
that?
I'm a farmer as well. How do I do that?
Yeah,
Because I build relationships. I really
yeah,
care for my stakeholder. And once the project is done, or once we get the feedback, I really take it seriously and make it even better if there is a feedback, or if there is new ways of doing things, or if I can think of, other interventions or anything. I just bring it to the table without them asking for it. So, and I always share my open thoughts, my thoughts openly with them. So I don't have the hesitation of like, oh, are they going to fire me or not? And luckily, what I have seen so far is that people appreciate that openness, appreciate that challenge. They don't just want people to be nice towards them. They want real feedback. They want real people. They want uh, real service, I would call it. So I give them the reality. And because I care, I do that. And that is the way of farming. Like, I keep that relationship. So let's say the one of the programs has finished. That's okay. And that program is finished, and 6 months later, maybe 4 months later, I send them a message and say, hey, how are you? Let's catch up. And it doesn't sound weird because we built that relationship already. And my agenda is not to sell anything in that catch up. I'm a people person, so probably it's easier for me to do just the catch up. Let's have a cup of coffee, like, or just have a 15 minutes conversation, or I just send them email saying, "Hey, how is life? How are you? You've been quiet, so how are you?" And I don't hesitate from doing that, right? So I think that's why I'm a farmer. It feels easier because I built that relationship already, one way or other. So yeah, hunting is a bit of a challenge for me, but I'm trying to be a hunter, Geo, these days. So that's why I'm attending these new networking events and see if I can
good.
be a hunter, because I think there needs to be a balance.
For
So
sure. For sure. And one is never 100% one or the other, right? You're
yeah,
just going to have a tendency.
yeah,
So tell us a bit more about the networking specific, maybe not specifically, but what is the next big thing for you? And here, so you mentioned the book for the more the personal
yeah.
aspect of things, but what is the next big thing for you in the sense of the business, Biran? What is it that
Yeah.
you're looking forward to or thinking of implementing, like in the next 3 to 6 months, that is going to help you grow?
So at the moment, we are working on an organizational diagnostic that might help us measure the well-being of the organizations, especially with the high-pace organizations, like high-pressure, high-pace organizations, because that's the problem with those, especially the professional services. The well-being, work-life balance, and everything. It's a big problem, and there is no such tool to really measure the well-being of the organization. So that's the tool that we're working on at the moment. It's a fresh idea, and we just designed put our project plan together. So hopefully, in the next 6 months, it's going to be live. Oh, I can't hear you.
Really? I'm not on mute.
Here
Test
we
one
go.
to test. Test one to test. The
Yeah.
joys of the direct. So that's an interesting one. If people want to find out more about you, Biran, about what you do, or this new project in 6 months, where should they go?
They should follow me on LinkedIn. I will definitely announce that. But they can go to tpcleadership.com. This is our website. Or if they want to just learn more about me, they can go to biranyilancioglu.com. My surname is not that easy, unfortunately. So maybe we can write it somewhere.
All the links in the description. Biran, thank you so much for coming on Consulting Leaders. What I can say for sure is that you've gained at least one connection on LinkedIn from this interview. Me, I
Oh,
just
thank
added you.
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much
So
for coming.
exactly. Likewise. Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be here.
Likewise.
Take care.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Leaders Podcast. We hope you learned valuable lessons on how to grow your practice and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.